Okay, I think we're recording. Crystal, if you want to take it away.
Okay, so I just shared my screen. Can everybody see it?
Yep.
Awesome. And how's my sound? Are you guys hearing me okay? Cool. All right. So you can jump in anytime with a question. So there is a small group, but I know that a lot of the students are going to watch this recording. So if you have a question at any time, I don't mind being interrupted. You can jump in, and you're probably helping some of your fellow students who aren't here who might have the same question when they're watching the recording. So feel free to interrupt. You can interrupt me too, Lucas, if you have questions or you want me to clarify something. I don't mind at all. Um, so welcome to the library. We were just saying it's so odd to be doing things by video, and I'm used to having all of you guys into the library, giving you a tour, giving you a complimentary library bag. We're going to have to mail those out to everybody this year because you still should get one. So it's a whole new experience doing it this way. But basically, even when campus shut down, the libraries never stopped delivering services. So we really quickly changed how we did things, got all of our staff working from home, although most of our staff are now working in the libraries and also from home, so they're doing both. And we just shifted to like, how do we support people remotely? So we've had a lot of practice over the summer months in delivering remote services, so we've got this. So I'm going to focus a lot on our website because that's kind of the library for you guys right now, right? It's not coming in person, but you can access all of our resources and information through our site. So this is the homepage for the Grenfell Library. So the main MUN Library site is here. It's library.mun.ca. But you can go to our specific Grenfell site if you like. To get Grenfell specific information. One of the things I want to point out right away is this big green live support chat online. So we have librarians from all of the Memorial University libraries monitoring chat 7 days a week. So it is available in the evenings and it is available on the weekend. So that's a really great resource. So normally you'd be in the library studying and you'd be able to go up and approach a librarian anytime. So we're trying to recreate that with our online chat. So that's a great service to take advantage of. For the latest information, we've got this big yellow banner added to our page. So if you click latest information on library services, it kind of takes you to the page where we've highlighted how we're doing things differently and how we're doing things remotely. So there's a lot of good information on this page and it's updated very frequently. So anytime you want to check in on something that's specific to how are we delivering that service remotely, have a look at this page and there's lots of information here for you guys. There we go. Okay, so what am I going to start with? Let's see. Oh, also on the Grenfell page, we have our news and events spotlight. And so anytime we're offering a new service, like when we launched our contactless pickup service, it is highlighted there. So that's why it's good to visit our website often, check out our news and events and our page linked here, because that'll keep you right here, because it'll keep you up to date on what might be changing, because we're constantly reevaluating what we're doing and rolling out new services. So for example, we just launched on-campus study spaces today, actually. So there's always new information coming out. Another way to keep up with us, if you click the little link down here, you can find out how to connect with us on social media. So we're really trying to stay in touch with students over social media. So if you haven't followed us on social, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, and we have Instagram. And so we're keeping students up to date on all of what's happening as we teach remotely that way too. So we'd love if you followed us online. Just a little plug there for our social media. Let's go back to our homepage. So the main way to access our online resources is this big search box right here. We call this One Search. And basically what you're searching is all of the books, all of the ebooks, all of the online journal articles that we have access to, things like our streaming film collection, and it's everything that's at all of the Memorial University libraries. So it's not just Grenfell, you're searching the St. John's campus libraries. So there's the giant Queen Elizabeth II library, which is much, much, much bigger than the Grenfell library. We have a health sciences library out there, a Marine Institute library that has a lot of information about like engineering and stuff like that. And we also have an education library and a music library. So it's quite a big collection that you're searching searching when you search our OneSearch. And we do have the biggest budget for online resources of all the Atlantic Canadian academic libraries. So we do have a lot of ebooks and online journals. So that's really been helping our students while we teach remotely. Some of your instructors may put things on what we call e-reserves. So there's a link to that right here, e-reserves or course resources. So if there's particular things that, and you have to log in with your MUN login, hopefully you guys all know your MUN login. Fingers crossed, you know that. So if your instructors have things specifically that they wanted to make available to you that you have to read or view for your courses, we have a whole digitization and scanning service at the library. So say it's a book chapter from a print book, we've scanned it and put it up there for the professor. We can even digitize DVDs. So there's a lot of my staff are working nonstop right now, basically, for a lot of the faculty, scanning material. And so you may see one of your class syllabuses say something's on e-reserve at the library. That's what they mean. And so there's different lists here. If you want to see if your professor has anything on reserve for you, you just go find lists, and you can search by your course title or by the instructor name. So some of your instructors may be placing things in e-reserve. So that's just a little bit about that.
While you're there, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So right now I'm in Environmental Policy 6000, and they have actual books listed on the course reserves. How do I access those if I'm not in Corner Brook?
Oh, are they print books?
It doesnn't say.
Oh, okay, no problem. So let's have a looky-loo here. Let's go back to our library page. So if they haven't told you where those are, you could use our e-reserve system and look up the course name.
So the books show up there and then it takes you to the page?
Yeah, so if you're
here, it doesn't have anything there.
That's interesting. So you did a search and you found the reading list, but there weren't any items on it?
You can go to it, so it's ENVP 6000.
Let's see what we can find. There we go.
So when you scroll down to like books, like a book will show up. So that governing climate change.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. So okay. So I'll have a look at this. So these could be suggested readings. Sometimes they put together lists of supplementary books, or it could be that he recently submitted the list and the staff are working on it, and maybe they're still digitizing some of them. So let me check on that particular course for you and see why there's a citation there, but there's no ebook or scanned book chapter, because that's odd.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah, there is. That's very strange. So I'm not sure why these. So this one here looks like a book chapter that you can download because it's only chapter 1. But yeah, some of these are looking like print books, which is not great. So let's look into that one. And sometimes the faculty can add things to the list themselves. So I'll get in touch with Andreas and see what's going on with this list and see if some of these, maybe we're currently purchasing them as ebooks, but we just haven't activated them yet. So I'll check on this for you and send an email to you guys in Environmental Policy 6000.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We would really appreciate that.
Not at all. We did receive a lot of lists from faculty at the last minute. So we're still working through a lot of e-reserves that we've been given, but that haven't been processed yet, which is understandable because a lot of the faculty are learning how to teach online for the first time. So they've got a lot on their plate too, but thanks for bringing that to my attention. Normally everything in the e-reserves list normally should be available as an ebook, or we've scanned a portion of it, or there's a link to something. So this list is looking weird to me too. So we'll figure out what's going on with that. Okay, so that was a great question. Okay, so back to our OneSearch where you can search through all the stuff we have. I'm going to do, these are other searches I was doing. What can I put in here? Let's try carbon tax maybe as a search. Let's see what we get. Do a little search around. And so you are searching everything. So you will get quite a lot of search results. So you can see here there's like 700,000 results. So there's different ways that you can narrow your search. One of the things you do want to remember to do in OneSearch is sign in. So you want to sign in with your MUN login, just like you would for the e-reserves like I just showed you, because once you're signed in, there's more options. There's things that you can do in OneSearch that you can't do if you're not signed in. So just try to remember to sign in. I forget all the time, and I go to request something. I'm like, where's the button? Oh yeah, I didn't sign in. But try to remember to sign in. And so there's lots of different ways to limit your search. So for example, maybe you just, oh, was there a question? No? We good? Okay, sorry. So one of the things you can do is maybe you just want to look at like the ebooks that we have available, so you can just look at our catalog, or maybe you're just interested in journal articles, and so you can click articles, and that'll eliminate books from your search. So those are two kind of ways that you could limit your search. You can also go look at some of the limiters over here on the side. Maybe you just want to look at scholarly peer-reviewed. Maybe you just want to look at full text online because you don't want to see any print books or journal articles you might have in print. It lets you know the different resource types depending on what you're looking for. Which library it's located at, less helpful in these times. And of course, as you're scrolling down through, you can kind of see we're identifying for you what some of these things are. So this is an article, it's peer-reviewed, you can download it as a PDF. This is a book, the BC Carbon Tax. This is an ebook, we have online access. We have another article here. This is a book that is available at the Queen Elizabeth II Library, and it's also available online as an ebook. So sometimes you see both options here because we have the print book in our collection, but we also have an ebook version. So that's just a little bit about our catalog there. This looks like audio online access. So there's some sort of CBC broadcast. So all kinds of stuff. Videos come up. So there's lots of different ways to limit your search if you're looking for different types of material. And of course, you can also limit your search with your keyword searching. So trying different terms and subject headings. And so that's where a librarian can be really helpful. So if you go in and you're searching and you're not quite finding what you want in the catalog, you can always reach out to us via chat or reach out to me, and we can help you with figuring out search terms or different strategies for searches. So that's one of the services that we do provide. But there's lots and lots and lots of online resources in there. So we don't want anyone to feel like, oh, you're at a real disadvantage because you don't have access to our print collections. We do have a lot of online resources, which is awesome for you guys. Another great way to search, the thing to keep in mind is when you're in OneSearch is you are searching everything. It's all subject areas. And sometimes you need to be a little more specific as grad students. So if we go back to our main page here, you can see under research tools, there's something called databases. And those are really helpful to check out because those are subject specific. So we can look at all the different topics that we can choose from down here. So I might go down to, what's a good one? Let's go back up to environmental studies. Let's try that one. So it'll suggest some databases for you. These are databases that we've purchased access to, and they really focus on very specific topics. So if I'm doing a search for environmental studies, one of the ones that I like to start with usually is Grenfell, because it's really environmental policy based. And so you're not going to get articles or books, about psychology or business or visual art, which sometimes comes up in OneSearch when you're putting in certain terms. So to really narrow your search to your subject area, you can try some of the databases. So let's just have a quick look at Grenfell. It's making me log in again. Reminded me to let them know I'm a student. Here we go. So this is kind of what typically the databases look like. So you have some search boxes up here where you can put in your different terms. And the nice thing about the databases is you're searching. This isn't like owned by Memorial University. We're accessing it through subscription. And they're going through so many journals that are published worldwide and government documents and publications. Things can come up in the databases that won't come up in OneSearch. So OneSearch, you're only searching things that Memorial has purchased. When you get into the databases, you're sort of opening up your search to things that might be in articles that we don't even have subscriptions to. So I'll show you how you can get a hold of those things. So that's why it's really helpful to use both. When you're doing a really detailed lit review, like you have to do as a graduate student, you want to look in OneSearch, but you also want to check out some of these databases so that you're getting a real full search of all the stuff out there that might have been published. So what are we going to do? Let's try some more carbon stuff again. Carbon emissions, good environmental topic, just to get started. See what we get. Here we go. So we didn't get quite as many results because, again, this database is very specific to just environmental studies. So it's not searching through as many things as we have in OneSearch. So a little bit more of a focused search here. So you might be thinking, oh, I'd like to actually read these articles. How do I do that? And you see this little funny button that says Get It at Memorial. They're not all necessarily going to have that. They do in this database. Okay, so what you want to do, if you like the look of one of these articles, you want to use the Get It at Memorial button. So this is a little button that kind of checks to see whether MUN actually has a subscription. Because like I mentioned, we're in the database now, so there could be stuff in here that MUN might not own. So you want to check the little button, Get It at Memorial. It's doing its little search. It's going to see if we own this item. And in this case, we do. So this is typically what you see when you're trying to get access to one of the journals. So you might notice that it's available through 2 slightly different sources. Sometimes this list can be very long. There can be like 6 different links there because sometimes we have access to a journal through various different providers. So don't get confused. Just click the link there and see if we can get at this. If you're ever having any trouble accessing an online resource and it's not opening for you or you're getting an error message, there is this report a problem link. And again, librarians are monitoring that all the time, like 7 days a week. And so it goes directly to a person who knows about the back end of what's going on with our online resources, and they can fix it really quickly and get in touch with you. So you want to report a problem if you don't find something. So let's see if we can open up an article here. There we go. So typically this is what it looks like. You get taken to the journal provider's page and you can download a PDF of the article. So that's pretty handy. And if you have a printer at home, you can print it and read it that way. I know a lot of students like to have it in print and make notes and highlight and stuff like that. So if we can try to find, it's always hard to find one that we don't have. And I didn't have time to run through and try to find one that we didn't have. So let me just click on a couple here. We just have too many online resources. Let's try this one. Yeah, there's too many. So what'll happen is if you get to this, if you click on that link, Get It at Memorial, sometimes you get to a page that says, we're sorry, we don't have access to this item. And there'll be a link there that says, request from document delivery. So we have a service called document delivery, and we're able to borrow material from all of the other libraries in North America. So if there's something that you need and it's in a journal and we don't have a subscription to it, we can borrow it from one of our other libraries. So maybe we get it from Dell or maybe we get it from UBC. And it's really quick. So it's all done online, obviously. So they would just be emailing a copy of the article to you. So usually you can get an article probably within 48 hours. So we are able to get to just about anything. So we do have access to other libraries' collections as well. And if they don't have it, we can always purchase it. So we have a purchase service that we have as well, where we can buy a copy of an article from a journal that we don't have a subscription to. So if you're not finding the PDF, if you don't get to that point where you're like, I just want to be able to read the PDF and I can't figure out how to get to it, you can always contact me, use our chat, and we'll figure out how to get you that article. So it might be that we don't own it and we can get it from another source or buy it. Was there any questions about that? Awesome. Document delivery is a great service. It's heavily used by our faculty and grad students because they tend to be looking for things that are really specific. Okay, so let's go back to our page here. So just to mention the databases again, you know, depending on your topic, you can try some of the various different databases. There's not necessarily like a right one or a wrong one. They're all searching through different types of material. So if you're kind of stumped and you have a topic and you're not quite sure maybe what might be a good database for it, that's another great way to reach out to the library. Use our chat or send me an email and we can suggest to you, oh, this database would be perfect for that topic. So that's what the librarians are here for. So you don't have to figure it all out on your own, which is awesome. Let's see here. Let's go back to our OneSearch. Oh, I went back to the MUN homepage. Sorry. Here we go. So let's do. I had a little search there that I was doing on depression. Let's go in here. So for the students who are going to be located in the Corner Brook or the St. John's area, and I know this is not as relevant for Tasha and Paige who are online, so bear with me, but a lot of our grad students are near Corner Brook or St. John's. So I'm just going to show them our contactless pickup service so they know that it's available. So if you find a book, like I'm going to go in and just click on, what's that, Grenfell? Here we go. So what do you do if you just find a book that's only in print, right? So that's an issue. If you're in Ottawa or Manitoba, you're like, okay, that book's on the stacks in the Corner Brook Library, not very helpful to me. So if you do find something like that, so for example, this book, Depression, is at the Grenfell stacks. If you're not in the Corner Brook or St. John's area, what you want to do is contact the library, send me an email. I'm going to put my email in the chat so you guys know it. Excuse me, I'm getting scratchy from all this talking. What we've been doing for students is our policy is basically we'll try to purchase that book as an ebook. So that's the quickest solution, and we've been purchasing a ton of ebooks over the last few months for students who aren't near campus. So that's a really great solution. Reach out to the library and say, hey, I'm not near you guys. Can you buy this for me as an ebook? And so if we can buy it as an ebook, we will. And that's a pretty quick process. Sometimes it can only be like 24 hours and that ebook is active. We can send you a link to it. Sometimes the books may not be available as an ebook. So that publisher might not have made that content available in that way. And we're stuck with, oh, it's only print. What do we do? So you have a couple options there. One of the things you can do if you only need a part of the book, like maybe you just need a chapter, reach out to the library and we'd be happy to scan it and email it to you. So that's one solution. If you need the whole book, that's not such a great solution. So we do have a contactless pickup service for people who are able to visit campus. If you're logged into OneSearch, like I mentioned, always log in, you'll see this button here that says request. And so you're going to request the book. And you can request books from any library. You can request them from the libraries in St. John's as well, and request your pickup location. So that option is available for you guys. So the first thing you would have to do is go in and request the print book. And now I'm just going to go back to our latest information page. And so we do have a page on our website that explains how our contactless pickup service works. Here we go. So there's lots of information about it here. And so basically, once you put in a request for an item, when the staff member pulls that book off the shelf and scans it and puts it on the hold shelf for you, it generates an email. And there's going to be a link in that email where you can actually schedule a time to come in and do contactless pickup. So at the Grenfell Library, for example, we have staff physically in the library Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So you'd get a link to a little calendar with those hours, and you could click a time that's good for you. And then you come to the main entrance of the library building. So you don't have to come into campus. It's the main entrance of the library building. And a staff member will meet you wearing a mask and gloves and hand you your material. And so that is a good way to get a free library bag because we're putting the books in our free library bags. So that's a great way to snag one. So that is a service that is available for the grad students who are located in a location where they could come to the Corner Brook or the St. John's campus. And we've been doing a lot of contactless pickup. So what do we do if you need a print book and we can't get it as an ebook and you're not near campus? So one of the other things we do have is a Canada-wide mail delivery service. So it is possible, and especially for grad students, this service is not going to be as great for undergrads because we know they tend to wait till the last minute to do their research a lot of times. I'm sure you guys are thinking, oh, I did that a bunch when I was doing my undergrad. But for graduate students, where you're going to be with us for quite a long time, potentially working on one project over the course of that period of time, if it's going to take us a couple of weeks to email you a book, that's probably fine for you guys. So if you don't mind a little bit of a delay, because we do have to mail it to you in the old-fashioned Canada Post snail mail, we can mail you books. So that is an option for you guys if you're not near campus and you are located in Canada. So we will do that for you. Some information about how to request mail delivery service. So basically the big difference is you go into OneSearch, you find the book, you hit the request button, but your pickup location would be Distance Plus. And that would mean, that's what we call this service. It's our Distance Plus service. And so we would know that, oh, that needs to be mailed to you guys. So if you pick Distance Plus, you're going to probably hear from a library staff member who might call you or email you and just confirm your mailing address, and then we can get the package out to you. When COVID first started, we were having such a time with mailing things. Like there were massive delays. That's really dramatically improved. So things are tending to be more normal in terms of mailing speeds now, which is awesome news. Because it was frustrating when COVID first happened, even to try to mail something to somebody wasn't even really an option because it was taking really long times for mail. Even as someone like I do a lot of Amazon ordering. Oh my goodness, I have Amazon Prime, and initially it was like, good luck trying to order microphones and tablets and things for the faculty. It was taking forever. But now my Amazon packages are back to like normal speed. So yeah, so that's an option, the mail delivery service. Basically, we're trying every possible way to get you what you need. So if we can buy it as an ebook, we will. If we can get it from another library, we will. If we got to mail it to you, we will. So there shouldn't be anything that you can't have access to. So any questions about that? Cool. I'll take you back to our
What about
main piece.
students outside of Canada?
Yeah, so we did have a lot of conversations about that at the library planning level. And one of the problems with that, again, is time. So if you are outside Canada, feel free to reach out to me. It's going to depend on where your location is. Trying to mail something to another country, America is a bit better, but if you're in Europe or Asia, it could be in Australia even, our concern with that is how long it might actually take to get a book to you. That it might not be a useful enough service because by the time it gets to you, it's like way too late. So for now, we're going to start with Canada and then kind of evaluate outside of Canada on a case-by-case basis. And I really want to try to work with you. The library at Memorial, we are in charge of copyright for the university, and we have a copyright clearance service, and we use it all the time for things we have to post in our e-reserve system. And so I could potentially do something like try to get copyright clearance to digitize an entire book for you, because that's probably going to be a better option than me trying to mail, a stack of heavy books to like Britain. Like it's just the amount of money that would cost and the amount of time it would take to get that to you. It's probably going to be easier for us to try to get copyright clearance to scan the book. And we pay a fee for that to the Copyright Clearance Center, but it'll be a lot faster and easier for you. So like I said, we're going to try everything we possibly can to get you what you need. There's probably always going to be a way to do it. So just reach out and just ask, and we're going to try to do everything we can for you. That's that. Hopefully that's your takeaway from this session. Let's see, anything else? Oh, one of the other fun tools here under research tools, we have a little bit of a guide on citation management. So you might be aware of these products, you might not. That's why I like to point them out to grad students. I think there was a question in the chat. Can you see the chat box, Lucas? I can't see my chat box. It appeared and then disappeared.
I'll just unmute myself here because last time I meant to say something and it was muted. Samira wants to know, all resources are downloadable for grad students. Do you want to maybe elaborate that a bit, Samira, about maybe what you're asking? You can feel free to unmute yourself if you want to elaborate. So I'm still not quite sure what you're asking.
I'll try to answer based on what I think she might need. So for things like our e-journal articles, the articles are all in PDF format. Those are super easy to download to your computer. Ebooks, the answer is sort of it depends. So our ebooks come from different providers, and some ebook providers, like one is called Springer, they're really great. All of their chapters are downloadable PDFs, which is really nice. Some ebooks, you do have to view them on your computer. And if you want to download it, it might restrict you to only a certain portion. So sometimes they have a page limit in what you can download. Some of them don't. Sometimes you can download the whole book. And certain providers, like I know we get a lot of our ebooks through a company called ProQuest, and they have, you can download a book, but they will often have like a limit on how long that download will last. So I was just helping a student who wanted to download a book, and they only got it for 21 days. So in the industry, we call that digital rights management. So some ebooks have built-in digital rights management around downloading, where you may have to create a free account and log in to their service in order to download. And sometimes you need to have Adobe Digital Editions installed on your computer in order to get at the downloading component. So they're all viewable, but when it comes to downloading ebooks, the answer is sometimes it depends. It can depend on the book. But when you click on an ebook record, it typically gives you that information. So you can either see the PDF links for download, or you might see a link saying, download a maximum of 92 pages, or you might say download entire book, and then there's like a time period after it. So if you're ever confused and you're not sure if you can download, again, just reach out to us because we can figure that out. So that's a great question, because sometimes you have limited access to internet, so you want to download it so you can have it on your computer for sure. The other thing I might mention is there are some restrictions for certain countries. So it depends on where people are located in the world. A lot of the companies we do business with are based in the US, and they're on American servers, and America has like trade embargoes with certain countries. And I did make grad studies aware of that this summer, just to like get them prepared for that, because we're not sure. We may have students in countries that are blocked from accessing some of these online resources. So if you encounter that, if you're trying to click on things and you get some sort of message that you're blocked, please let us know. Such as me in Iran. Yep, exactly. So we're trying to keep track of how many international students are encountering that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about that because it's basically international law. So I asked the question to our lawyer, what if I like downloaded and emailed that to the student? Is that illegal? And they're like, that's illegal. Yeah, that's pretty illegal. So yeah, I don't want the federal government to come and break into my house and take me away and arrest me. So thank you, Samir, for mentioning that. And we're trying to figure out what solutions are going to be in these times now. What do we do with students who might be in countries that are embargoed? So let me know if you're experiencing problems with stuff. Everything's so complicated nowadays. Okay, so we'll talk. Yes, somebody asked about news articles. Yeah, we do have a lot of subscriptions to newspapers that are online. Some of them, some of the like really big papers don't allow libraries to have subscriptions for everybody. So some newspapers we do, some we don't. I would say the best way to find out is to go to our OneSearch and type in the title of a paper and see what our access is like. Sometimes we have access to like the old editions, but not the most recent. And then some newspapers do license to libraries that allow us to have online subscriptions. Kind of depends on the paper, if that makes sense. And did I see another question pop up from Samira about? Did she mention VPN?
Yeah, she asked about VPN accounts.
That's probably the type of thing they're looking into. It's something that we, had never ever thought about before until now. And the folks in, we call it collections, who deal with licensing, kind of brought this to our attention probably in about July. And then we brought it to the attention of everyone who would need to know, so that, the administrators and grad studies and stuff. And I know that that's something that they're aware of, and they're trying to figure out how we could fix that problem. So I haven't been given any information yet. Like I said, it's way bigger than just me. My solution was to try to do something illegal, which they told me I wasn't allowed to do. But I know that they're aware that this is going to be a problem, especially if we continue teaching remotely in subsequent semesters. We've got to sort it out. So I do know they're aware of it, and I'm sorry I don't have an answer for you today. But that might be something that they're looking into. But we'll definitely keep you posted. If I find out that they figured out a way to get you some access, I will let you guys know right away. Any other questions on that? We're good. Okay. I was going to talk about citation management. So some students aren't aware that these services exist. This can be a really big help when you're doing grad studies and you're having to do really, really big bibliographies. So you might have, 100 sources or 200 sources in your bibliography. How do you keep track of them all? How do you keep track of all the ebooks and articles that you've spent all that time searching for? This is what we call citation management software. So these are products that are free or partially free. Sometimes they're free, but to get at some of the really fun features, you might need a personal subscription. And so we basically have a comparison here that we've done for you guys. If you're thinking about using a citation management software, we have information about how they work, whether or not you have to download things or not, what the cost is like, right? So this one is free, but if you run out of storage space, they charge you. And so it gives you some things to think about if you'd like to use one. So the two big ones are Zotero and Mendeley. So those are not things that that have anything to do with Memorial. Those are just products that are out there that a lot of students use. And then there's also EndNote, which is basic or desktop. So those are the four kind of big ones that a lot of students use. And it's basically like you can create a little database of all of the sources that you're finding. So when you're in one search or you're in one of the databases and you find some articles or books that you want to use, you can actually export what we call the citation, the information about the item, like the title and whatnot. You can export it into your Zotero account or your Mendeley account. And so when you go and log in, you'll have like a whole list of all the sources you found. And the really fun thing about citation management software is that it generates your bibliography for you. So if you have all your sources in Zotero, you could actually tell it to spit out a list in APA style or MLA style or whatever style you have to be using. So they can save a lot of time. And some students really do enjoy them. And a lot of students don't know they exist. So that's why I wanted to just point them out. So those are the different ones there. And our little chart is pretty handy. Any questions about that? Okay. Awesome. Let's go back to our main page here. So like I mentioned, for anybody who is near campus, who might be watching the video later, we did launch on-campus study spaces at Grenfell and St. John's. So you can book an online study space on campus if you are nearby. So if we go here to, we've got it linked up here, bookable on-campus study spaces. So this photo is actually Grenfell. So this is our on-campus study space, which is located in our beautiful new Arts and Science extension, which is the newest part of campus. And we've got individual study carrels, physically distanced. We worked with health and safety to make sure they were nice and far apart. And so these are bookable. So the schedules at all of the branches and the link to book a 3-hour time slot is available here. So depending on if you're in St. John's, you could study at the QE2. If you're here at Grenfell, you could study here. And so just pointing that out. I know not everyone's near campus, but if you are, it is possible to book a space to study on campus in the quiet if you need it. So just
was there question about that? Is there any access near those to a printer? That's one.
There is at Grenfell. So the libraries in St. John's aren't providing computing or printing services at the moment, but in this space, right down by this wall down here, there actually is a printer. And at Grenfell, all the printing is wireless, and you can add money to your print account online. And the computing help desk actually is open. You can visit it in person, or you can email them or give them a call. So if you were in our study space, for example, we've posted what the name of that printer is. And if you have a computer and you're on our Wi-Fi, you're able to print. Unfortunately, if you're in St. John's at the moment, there isn't printing or computing available at the QE2 or Health Sciences. And they're working on how that's going to work in St. John's. So I'm getting some information this week on that I'm going to be posting on the library website. That was a great question, Lucas. But if you're on the Grenfell campus, you do have printing.
That was one of my biggest struggles at the beginning of COVID, because I don't own a printer and I always just used to print on campus.
Of course.
Yeah. So good.
Print again. Just have to book a space. Yeah. So yeah, Lucas, you'll want to come down here to our online booking. And it's really simple. So you can see if you wanted to book a time slot.
Awesome.
They're 3-hour blocks, and you get 1 per day and up to 2 per week at Grenfell. And we can increase that if we need to. We kind of tried to start trying to be really fair, make sure everybody gets a turn. And if the volume is not too high, we can let people book longer or for more times per week. But right now we're trying to have as many time slots available as possible. We have no idea how many of our students are in the Corner Brook or St. John's area, or how many people need to come to campus or feel safe coming to campus. So it's interesting because at the library, we always try to make our decisions based on evidence, and we take a lot of statistics. So one of the frustrations for me is trying to figure out services when you have no idea, because everything is completely different now. So we have some pretty good schedules. We're doing afternoon and evening shifts, and we also have time slots on Sunday. So in normal times, that's when students like to study the most in our library. They're usually there in the evening, and particularly Sunday's a busy day. We don't know if that's going to be true with people in a completely different situation. So we'll see. So we can always adjust the schedule if needed. A little bit of information about that. We're going to go back to our Grenfell page. So if you guys need help, like I mentioned, there's online chat, which is really awesome. I have it set up so that you can book an online appointment with me. So make sure you're on the Grenfell Library homepage, and you'll notice our lovely libraries there. That's how you know you're on the Grenfell page. Under Help, you see Book Online Appointment. So you can book an appointment with me. It's linked to my calendar and also my Zoom account. And it'll actually send you an email once you pick a time, and it'll give you a link for Zoom, and you can have a Zoom meeting with me. So if you do need help, I am available for appointments, and I can help you out with your research with citing, how to cite things. That's another thing I like to help with. So that is available for you guys if you'd like to have a meeting with me. You can always email me as well. And if you need something more immediate, if it's a Sunday or if it's an evening and you're like, well, I could email Crystal, but I don't know, maybe she's asleep, because with all the time zones, who knows? So check and see if our chat icon is green, and you can get instant assistance from chat, which is really awesome. Any questions about that? So I think that's it from me. So that wasn't too long, 45 minutes. Thanks for being so patient and listening. Hopefully I've remembered to tell you everything that I wanted to tell you about. And you kind of got a sense of how getting at the library services remotely is going to be working this semester. Do you think of anything I might have missed, Mr. Lucas?
The one question I do have, and this is mostly just for myself because it pertains to me, but if students currently have books out that they've had out for a period of time now, how is that working? Like, I know at one point it was just sort of like, keep the book until the world doesn't end.
Yes, exactly. At first we were like, just keep them. So one of the things we did is we have exterior book bins at all of the branches now. So if we go to our news and events page, here we go. Yeah, so here's a little picture. Here's our book bin.
Oh, nice.
So one of the problems that we had when we initially closed was the little book return slot to return your books, which would be like on the outside of the library. A lot of our libraries were inside of buildings. So when we shut down campus, the students couldn't come and put the book in the book return slot because it was inside the library and computing building. So one of the ways we've addressed that is we ordered book bins that can be outside. So every branch has one of those. So it doesn't matter what campus you're on. So this one's located right outside the entrance to the library and computing building. So you don't need to have permission to come on campus. You don't need to come inside. It's right there for you. So if you're not in the Corner Brook or St. John's area, and you're like, what do I do? If you're in Newfoundland, one of the things we did is we partnered with the public library. So if you are in Newfoundland, but you're not close to campus, you can return our materials to any of the branches of Newfoundland Labrador Public Libraries, and they have 99 branches. So that has been a big help for some of our students in rural Newfoundland and Labrador to get books back to us. If you're outside of Newfoundland and you still had some material, I'm thinking a lot of students left with material because back in March the semester wasn't over and they still had to finish their assignments and study for exams. So students might have left with material. So one of the things we're going to be announcing soon is we're partnering with all of the Atlantic Canadian academic libraries, and you'll be able to return material at any library. So for example, if you were in Nova Scotia, you could go and return books at Dal or St. FX or wherever you are, and they'll get them back to us. So that's really great for Atlantic Canada. The next step is, what if you're further away than that and you took our material with us? So we're trying to make some arrangements with couriers so that say you're in British Columbia and you took some books back with you, you're going to be able to mail them back to us in a way that doesn't cost you anything, because we don't want the students to be charged, obviously, for shipping. And then the big question, which we're still grappling with, what do we do if you're outside of Canada and you might have had to take books back with you? I think it's very unlikely we're going to ask for those books back. Shipping books internationally is incredibly expensive. So we might just be saying, you know what, if you're in, England, you just keep those books and we'll just buy new copies because that's just going to be bananas trying to get those back, I think. So that's a little bit about that. So it's a great question, Lucas. And if you use our mail delivery service, if you need to actually be mailed a book in Canada, we do send you an envelope to send it back in that has our address on it and the postage is paid. So the mail delivery service works really well within Canada.
Cool.
One of the things we don't have turned back on, if you go to OneSearch, if there's a book that's checked out, so there's a book that you want, but it's not available, it says checked out, so maybe someone has that. In normal times, you can request that book and the user would get an email and it would say, you need to bring your book back because someone else wants it. We have that turned off at the moment because we don't want students who might be anywhere in the world getting an email saying, you better bring that book back in 3 days or we're going to fine you. And you're like, oh my God. Students don't really need that stress because it's hard enough trying to get the books returned if you're not near campus. So if you encounter that, if you see something that's checked out, that's when you want to contact us. I'm happy to see if there's an ebook version I could buy you instead. Maybe I'll buy a new copy and mail it to you, whatever we can do to get the material to you. But so that's a little something about the books that are checked out. Normally you could request them, but you can't at the moment. Some good questions. And I'm just going to go to under About Us. Here's Contact Us. And I'm going to go to Grenfell. Here we go. So here's all the ways that you can contact us. This is the main library email that's being checked constantly by staff. Here's what we all look like. If you were in the library, you'd see all of us here. And so here's my email. So I'm crose@grenfell.mun.ca. Here's the link again to book an appointment with me. I wouldn't bother with any of these particular phone numbers. Like, I'm not in my office, so don't call my office number. But the main phone number up here, if you do want to talk to someone, sometimes you just need to talk to someone. That's what I find. This phone number up here, which is the main phone number to the library, there are staff, like I mentioned, in the building weekdays, 9 to 3. So you can call the library during those hours. So that's trickier for people in different time zones for sure. But there's also there's the email address. And you can always email me directly to my email. I'm checking my email as much as I possibly can. All the time, because I know students are emailing me at different times now with the time zone. Yeah, so that's how you get in touch with us, and I think that's it, unless there's any other questions.
Hi, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything that you're doing. It really is evident that Memorial and the library is going above and beyond during this wild time to get us all the resources. And I think I didn't realize before we did this, like, just how much extra work it was and how much extra money it must be to get everything to us. So I just wanted to say thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. It's been an interesting couple of months. For sure. We've all been working.
Oh my gosh.
So we appreciate that.
Does anyone else have any other questions, comments? If no one has any questions, I'll stop the recording And then I guess we'll just end there. Thank you, Crystal, so much for presenting. That was really helpful. And we are going to post this on the orientation website, and Nada will send out a link to everybody so that everybody can access it. Yeah, thanks so much, everybody.